Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the official launch of the Gold Series window, brought to you today by Teams. We are happy to spend the next half hour or so walking you through the rationale and the features and benefits of this product. We plan to spend about 30 to 45 minutes going through the slides. We have a Q&A tab at the top where you can put your questions there. We'll do our best to get to some during the meeting, and maybe some of the other questions we'll get to those after we finish up. So we want to be efficient and careful with everybody's time, so we really want to make sure that we hit all the key features today. And I'm sure there'll be questions, that come out of this thing. But we've got the sales team and the order desk that are out there ready to help once we get past this. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to talk really briefly about sort of the rationale. And part of what we have with that is the Gold Series represents the expansion of our lineup. It is in addition to Platinum and Gold Series. So the features, the benefits, the product lines that you see today, none of that changes. This just gets added to that. Now the Gold Series for our mix and product is a standard 4 5/8 vinyl frame. 4 5/8 frame. So similar to the Diamond and the Gold Series, it is a box frame construction. And the reason for that is the familiarity that we all have with the way we assemble using our coupler systems, and we have the ability to kind of snap these things together. Now on the screen here, you're seeing the available product types: fixed windows, casements, awnings, combinations, radius shapes and non-radius shapes, both low and high fixed. So from the get-go, you have, other than sliders and hungs, you have a complete line of products in the 4 5/8 family. And one of the things we try to do is to understand, what are the advantages of this 4 5/8 frame. And if you go back to the last 30 some odd years of new construction in most of Canada, you have either the combination of 2x6 framing for homes, or you have 2x4 with exterior interior insulation, basically thicker walls. And the 3¼ inch frame that we've been selling for many years has really been a kind of extended insert window that we've been adding brick molds and jam extensions to. So right out of the gate, the box of the product is already accommodating what we are replacing in wider walls. Now, the key characteristic of this product, as you can see from the photo, is it's a flush frame interior and exterior. So there's no step anywhere in the frame where that you can have a brick mold attached out of the gate. It does come with the groove on the exterior for brick mold additions, but as it stands, the product itself is flat, as we call it. That in itself, because it's wider, the 4 5/8 is less of a need for things like brick molds and interior jam extensions. You can use a smaller jam. You can actually accommodate the interior because of the built-in return, and you can also leave it flush mount in terms of just using the existing nosing. So the nosing that comes with the product is set back 1¼ inch. That's the feature that has the outside of the product, which is kind of what we call nosing, or some might call a brick mold. That nosing has an 8-degree slope for water drainage. And the built-in return that you can kind of see here in the photo is basically accommodating 5/8 wood or 5/8 drywall. So right out of the gate, you got a nosing and you got an integrated return that comes with the window. Part of the rationale for 4 5/8 with the nosing setback 1.25 inches, if you remember when you order a window with brick mold, you do get the setback with brick mold, but you're automatically getting that now. So you're moving your thermoglass to the warm side of the wall. And that's important because in a lot of new construction builds, condensation resistance, this is a key factor of getting glass to the warm side. Another benefit of wider frame is the improved energy performance numbers, which we'll show in a little bit, regarding U value and solar heat gain coefficient. So a lot there, but really what we're trying to get at is we have a much better starting point in terms of a product offering with a much better starting dimension of frame versus the type of replacement windows we're starting to see come out of new construction, and also some of the new construction methods for installation that have been in place for the last 30 some odd years. One of the other benefits is we've slimmed down the sash profile. It's still beveled like we have with our platinum and our diamond, but that actual dimension is slightly slimmer. So it has increased visible glass area versus platinum and diamond. That was one of the added benefits of the product face, which allowed us to achieve better solar heat gain and U value numbers. Again, the beveled sash design matches both platinum and diamond series. And for existing Mins and Max, the gold series for double and triple follows the same lead that we have with our platinum and our gold series. Options and accessories. Across the board, all existing glass options we have available for glass, double pane, 1 3/8, triple pane, specialty glass, frosted silvet, and security options are all in play. So all those things apply with the gold series. Same with exterior options. We have colors, we have brick molds, nailing fins, and all the reinforcements available. So all those things that you currently see in Fenivision for platinum and diamond apply to gold. On the interior option side, we have the availability of painted inside, premium hardware. We also offer it in roto, and we have a limited amount of jam options at the moment for sort of the product rollout. And as we get sort of more demand, that will obviously change. But for now, we're sticking to the most popular options for jams. And those jams at the moment are unfinished wood jam extension. We have primed wood, which is our most popular, and we are also going to introduce a PVC wrap jam in plywood. The available sizes for the jams, these are standard depths, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, and 5 1/4. But we will also do custom. The reason we've chosen these three, as I mentioned earlier, is that they are the most popular. They seem to be what we sell most often in most markets across Canada. So as I mentioned, there's opportunities to do other things down the road, but for now, this seems to be the most common materials that we sell. So I suspect prime wood and PVC wrap will probably be the two most popular. This is another area where the product seems to be more and more in play, and we seem to, as an industry, be moving more towards efficiency, more towards ratings, and more towards energy certification. So we are absolutely 100% Energy Star certified. We are most efficient for 2026 across certain combinations of glass. So really from an energy standpoint performance, you're not diminishing anything in platinum or diamond when we talk about gold. You're at the same level. So one low E across the board gets us an ER34, similar to platinum. And we move into triple, it would be the same high performance triple glazing that you expect from diamond. So think about this as just a better, wider frame to be used in applications where you have wider wall cavities. You're not compromising on energy efficiency in any way, shape, or form. So when we talk about energy efficiency and we talk about changes that are coming, one of the anticipated changes is sort of the next wave of energy performance, which Enercan seems to be moving towards a 2030 requirement, where they believe that the window category itself will have either an improved ER or a reduced U value to ensure the product meets the energy efficiency stringencies that they're coming up with. The last promotion or last rebate we had a minimum of ER34 with a U value of 1.22. So in most cases we met those requirements with our packages. Now with the Gold Series you meet and in some cases surpassed. So when we talk about ER, we talk about one category, and when we talk about U value, we're talking about another one. So this can be part of any future rebate programs that are coming down the pipe, whether it be based on U value or based on ER. We're ready in both cases with the different glass packages that we offer from Cardinal. So when we do the comparison of energy ratings, this is where we kind of get very granular and we look at the Gold Series and Platinum Series. And I talked about this before, but sort of the U value improvement in the Gold Series double versus Platinum double. Solar heat gain coefficient, you have an extra layer of protection there. The visible light transmission, that reflects the slightly thinner sash that we talked about. ER ratings are identical, and Energy Star ratings are both on the yes side. So you can see right away that on the U value and the solar heat gain, which I mentioned earlier, we're in a slightly better position. So it again, as the market moves towards energy, we talk about U value, solar heat gain, ER, everything about the Gold Series trends in the right direction in terms of what we could see in the future. When we look at the Gold Triple versus the Diamond Triple, again, U values, you see an improvement there with the single low E. You look at the solar heat gain, they're identical, and then when the visible light transmission, which is something we don't necessarily measure for certification, but that's important to note, it's identical, and you have a slightly better ER on the Gold Triple versus the Diamond by 1 point. And yet again, you get the Energy Star. So I think we've done a really good job of understanding what the minimum requirements are. In some cases, we've surpassed them. So on the energy side, the availability of options and all that other stuff, the product is very much ready for today's demand. We talk about pricing. We talk about two things. We talk about an out-of-the-box Gold Series 4 5/8 frame versus a Platinum Series of the same size. So when we compare a little bit of the features versus the added features in the Platinum Series at the list price level, which is what this example is showing you, we're seeing that the need to add a 5/8 brick mold to kind of come up to the same point you're starting at with the Gold Series, and the need for drywall return on the inside increases the item price from $553.62 at the bottom here versus the $475.49 on the Gold Series, which relates to roughly about a $78 savings coming out of the gate. So we see that the product is kind of, more thought out in terms of what's needed there. on the demand side, both for replacement and new construction, and it gives you sort of the added features that you've come to need for replacement and new construction. Obviously, if you're not doing an internal jam extension, or you're doing whatever the case might be, obviously you would add that to the price itself. One of the things the product does come with is an internal cap to cover up that that return. So this gap here, there is a filler piece that goes in that allows you to finish that off. So if you wanted to use that as an insert window at that dimension, you absolutely could. One other thing to mention is the fact that the product itself is also using the exact same machinery, processes, cutting, assembly, efficiency, and lead time that you have with both Platinum and Diamond series. There's no difference in terms of the expectation of the lead when it comes to this product. We're not going to take longer to make it. We're not going to have any special assemblies or anything like that. This goes down the production line just like the other two products do. So when we kind of come back to the positioning and the the rationale behind this, obviously we see this as an expansion of our offering. We don't see the 3¼ inch window really diminishing in any way, shape, or form, because at the end that's really the choice of those who are selling based on what the need of the home is that you might be at. So a lot of companies have 3¼ like we do, and some have 4 5/8 like we do now. So I think both can coexist. The features and benefits are both numerous, because you can use this in replacement. Custom builders, which we are talking to some of our dealers who are working with custom builders that have been using a 4 5/8 before. Absolutely, on the new construction side of things, there is a as I mentioned, a 2x6 framed construction or greater that's been used over the last little while. We have the brochures ready, both printed and digital format, to share with you. We do have hand samples and cross sections available at this time. So we would suggest you speak to your salesperson about showroom samples down the road. And the software is already loaded with the Gold Series in terms of what it is in fenestration for both quoting and for ordering. So we really kind of put the bow tie on the whole thing today by we put it in the system ahead of time, sort of a soft launch, and now we've got sort of the official launch, and all the tools are at the ready for you to sell, and for us to continue to educate you beyond the presentation today. I think where Gold Series is really going to start to show is when we get into, as I mentioned earlier, future requirements and Energy Star certification that is quickly going to be much more stringent in the future. What you're seeing here is just a quick insert of the brochure. This is the cover page. This is the kind of flip page on the inside, and obviously some marketing items. So everything I've described today is in the brochure itself, and there's some more information. The Energy Star numbers will all be in the software based on your glass combinations and specialty and all that other stuff. So it really tells us that the product kind of moves in all the different directions that it should, based on what the needs are, because we do service a wide range of customers across the country. So we made it very flexible in its ability to meet the needs of somebody in Toronto as much as they need it in Edmonton or Nova Scotia or Montreal. So it really has, we feel, all the right pieces for its launch in order to satisfy different markets across the country. So that concludes the overview of the product. I know we just touch the surface of what the product is all about. I'm sure there'll be questions, and there'll be more feedback in terms of, does it do this, does it have that, does it deal with that? So as I mentioned at the outset, we do have the Q&A tab available for questions. If we don't get to it now, we can absolutely get to it after we stop this meeting. But again, if I go back to the genesis behind this whole thing is really coming back to a product that fits the last 35 years of new builds and homes, and as those products start coming out, which we've seen over the last couple of years or 5 years, this product itself seems to be a much better fit for this flat in and out type replacement windows and new construction that we've seen over the last little while. So yeah, I thank you all for your time. I thank you for your patience. We're here for any Q&A if there's any. And I think moving forward, I'm sure there'll be lots of information shared with either sales reps or internal people here. Again, there's a digital copy of the brochure, and there's also a paper copy of the brochure. So the sales reps will be out delivering those along with hand samples and cross sections for those who want to see more in detail, and also availability of windows for your showrooms. Okay, well, that concludes the video portion of the presentation, and like I say, we'll stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes to solicit any questions that we get. Again, I thank you all for your time, and I'm sure there will be more dialogue or discussions, so they can do that. So again, I'll just mention that there's a Q&A tab at the top of the screen that has the little question mark with the bubble on it. So we'll just give everybody a couple minutes to fill it with any questions they have. Don't be shy, because nobody knows where it's coming from or who's asking for it, so we won't call anybody out on it. We'll just respond. So I see there's a question here for replacement, renovation. A jam requirement is often 6 inches front to back for 2x4 brick wall. That said, we'd ask that you'd stock size 1 3/8 jam extensions. Okay. Yeah, I can absolutely see where that is applicable. So that's something that I think we should look at, because that would be an out-of-the-box stock size, 1 3/8. Okay, good feedback. That's something we need to consider. Now, does that jam extension material, I'm assuming, would be primed wood? Okay, good question. I think the other thing to consider is, if we go back to this slide regarding options, there is a custom feature. I do feel like we can probably hit that, but the stocking sizes that we've achieved right now fit perfectly with the process in terms of what's going on in the back in terms of soliciting. So I think 1 3/8 is something that we can absolutely request from our supplier. I feel like in this industry we've had a lot of companies attempt a 4 5/8 or 4.5 inch replacement or new construction style window, but I feel like we've tried to be more of a replacement focused company on that versus a new construction. So we really want to make sure that the product stays premium, because as I mentioned earlier, we have the premium type of jams and the PVC wrapped wood, and roto hardware with our standard screen that we use in our replacement windows for both platinum and diamond series. So it's really putting a lot of good ingredients into the build of the product right out of the gate. So it's really beneficial because, as you saw with the example, with the price point, it still comes in a little less expensive, but we're not compromising on any of the product feature and product options that go into it. Okay, so at this point, I think we'll leave this on for a few more minutes just to see if we get any more questions, and at that point, we'll just sign off. I'm sure there'll be questions put to the team, individual members or cast members. So what we'll do is we'll do our best to get to them as quickly as possible. Okay, so at this time we'll sign off. I see some other questions have kind of bled in here, but they're kind of long in question there. So I'll take those offline, and I'll share those with the team as soon as we get a minute to regroup here. So thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody's time on a Friday before a long weekend. So again, thank you, and I'm sure there'll be more discussions about the product going forward. So we're happy to see that you can quote it, you can order it, you can get samples, brochures. It's all there. So we're ready to go and hope it's going to be successful for both yourselves and for us. So thank you again.